welcome to issue 242 of Critical Encounters, a podcast about Marvel Champions, a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. Here, we take a good look at that most critical piece of the game, encounter sets. We'll discuss those poorly understood characters, unfairly labeled villains, and their various plans to shape humanity and benefit the planet, as well as those so-called heroes intent on thwarting them. I'm one of your hosts, Steve, and joining me tonight is Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
Hey, Steve, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm trying to rise above first grade plague.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You gotta build your strength up against that kind of thing.
I will have superhuman immunity in no time.
Pretty
Or
soon.
be dead.
Oh, speaking of being dead, it's Mike back from the. I don't know. That didn't really work. But hi, Mike.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Good. How are
I
you?
just thought up a new supervillain weapon. A gun that shoots first grader plague.
First grade plague. Nice. Yeah, so well, here we are, 242, and everyone wants to know, Daniel, what's on your mind tonight?
Bittersweetness, guys. I have a fond farewell to give. As of the recording of this show, fellas, we have lost another great podcast to the ravages of time.
Oh, yes.
The Card Game Cooperative podcast has officially posted an article about the end of their show. Oh, Steve, we've had great fun with these guys from across the pond. They would talk about all three of the co-op LCGs from FFG, Lord of the Rings, Arkham, this show, Marvel rather. And we had James on the show a few times, and they all made for a fun and positive listen no matter the game they were talking about.
We even went on their show and did 2 special episodes. Danny, you remember that? We did Lore of the Rings.
Lore of the Rings. That was great.
Yeah, we talked all about lore of the base set cards and stuff. It was a ton of fun with those guys.
But yeah, an absolute heartfelt thank you to James, Will, Michael, Simon for all the great shows. Those were fantastic casts. I love them. You guys will be missed. But Mike, can you quick get the freeze ray? Go. Get him. They're ours now. One more down on our road of total world domination, guys.
I'll put these ice statues with the others.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, it's quite a nice little garden we've got, isn't it? It's very Lion the Witch and the Wardrobe-y.
Ooh,
I like it.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, really, it's sad to see them go, but it's hard to do these things and have lives, and we get it.
Yeah, and they posted, they moved. Some of them moved. They doubled the number of kids they had between them, and when they can get together, they just want to play, which makes sense. I want to play.
Totally. Totally makes sense. Well, hopefully they'll still be willing to, hang out with us on occasion when they can.
Yeah, we'll have to give it a try.
Yeah. But Steve, sometimes I have something on my mind, which then triggers something that you have on your mind.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you. I had some gratitude on my mind, like you like to say.
Gratitude.
Nice. Yeah, our friend Ray from Into Night podcast also has a YouTube channel, Ray Plays Games, and he recently did a giveaway alongside with in partnership with GameGenic. He gave away 2 different deck boxes. You watch the video and you make comments and you interact with him. And I won one of those deck boxes.
Sweet.
Showed up at my house today. So thank you, Ray. Awesome. And thank you, GameGenics. Good stuff. It's really cool.
That must have taken eons to get to you.
Well, it came from Germany, where GameGenics is. Not from Australia. So it still took a while, but it did get here faster, I think, than via koala. So
yeah, koala boat.
But just because you had something on your mind and I had something on my mind doesn't mean Mike doesn't have something on his mind. Mike, do you have something on your mind tonight?
I do, actually, because I just listened to this week's episode, which was the Zola episode. And I got a lot of call-outs in that episode for various things. And I do want to respond to the community who thought that I had the most bling out of all of us.
Yeah.
I have a grand total of 0 bling and a little bit of arts and crafts. The only thing I have is every time I get a hero pack, I cut out the hero card and I make a divider out of it. Like the cover.
The front insert, the cover?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I make a little a little divider out of it. That's it. I use the same tokens. I don't have a playmat that matches the game. I use the same counters. That's what I do. I guess I use some dice sometimes for Spider-Woman to denote how many times I've used her ability. But yeah, that's it. So wow.
It's definitely me. I have the most amount of stuff. So
heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else, Mike? What else did we say on that?
No, that was it. That was it.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. I still think he has the polar bear for case covers, but whatever.
Well, Steve, we're not just here to talk about what's on our mind. What's going on tonight?
I thought you had the lore.
Yeah.
I thought you had the lore.
Oh, it's not my turn. It was yours, wasn't it, Mike?
No, I'm next week. No, I'm not.
Wait, I was.
You're up, Daniel. It was your turn. Remember, if we look at the schedule, I know there's some time stuff out of order here, but it's your turn. So what do you got?
Well,
what did you bring?
Oh, look, a TV.
Oh, should we just watch
yeah.
some TV?
Yeah, I think we could watch some TV. Steve, is that all right? I mean, I'm totally prepared. I have something, but I'm looking at the TV and it's.
Why don't we just watch some MTV?
Do you mean Mojo Television?
I sure do.
Awesome. On the inside.
For clothes that Tristan lost.
Oh, hell and damnation! Is that a walking shark in a western?
Bold 3 detergent plus fabric softener.
Caleb, are you all right? Are you?
Spray relief.
This attachment is for the birds.
These are awesome.
Pumpkin glider.
You two take care of labor.
Only intended for plain cat. Predator's freaking counterpunch. My world.
You don't want to die of cold. Toll free.
Walking on broken glass. Walking on broken.
All right, listen up. We're on the tail of that son of a glitch, Magneto 2.6. He's been eluding us for months, but tonight we're gonna nail him. I mean, look at that.
I'll give you trouble. Pop your piece around the track if you get nails and more nails.
Oh, get it together, soldier. I'm sure it's fine. See, our lines are holding there just fine. There's nothing to...
After the honeymoon, but when I got back and I found out that he'd stolen Ben. Lies have gotten all of us into so much trouble.
Welcome to the Villain Factory, where you decide what the bad guy does. Tonight, it's all about brute strength. So buckle up and get ready to build. First question. What is the strongest animal in nature by weight? Is it A, the harpy eagle, B, the dung beetle, or C, the gorilla?
Okay, Mike, so this looks like one of these shows where we use the remote control and we choose our own adventure, or we build our own path by pushing the button.
Whoa, this is not my kind of show, guys. I'm out of here. I have some work to do in the lab. Have fun.
Oh, okay, come back in a little bit.
I hope it has something
Yeah,
to do
sure.
with
I'm gonna make some popcorn too.
So I'll go first to show you how this thing works. Okay, Mike?
Okay. There's a lot of buttons on this.
Well, it's only 3. We know that's your limit. But I think it's B, the dung beetle.
I think it's also the dung beetle.
Correct! The dung beetle is the world's strongest insect, capable of pulling a staggering 1,141 times its own body weight.
That is one big pile of shit.
All right, it is the dung beetle. Now, this will be the inspiration for the villain that we create. Now, you get to craft the villain Dung Beetle for the Marvel Champions living card game.
That's a little on the nose, don't you think? Dung beetle, the dung beetle.
Oh, I mean, it is Mojo Television. It's not that inventive. So,
Okay.
yeah, we're okay.
First,
Let's see what it's got.
this villain is a brute and is all about strength. So please enter in what you think the scheme and attack should be for the level 1 dung beetle. Is it scheme 0, scheme 1, or scheme 2?
This seems a little easy. Level 1, he's going to go, it's 0, right?
0 for the Dung
Or
Beetle
level
brute
1.
villain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
0.
right, let's go
Okay.
0.
0. Dung beetle is not a schemer. Well, let's talk about his attack. Is Dung Beetle attacking at 1, 2, 3, or 4 on his level 1 card?
This is tricky.
Let's dive right in and make him a 3.
I think so. With the 0 scheme, you got to give him at least 3 in his stats.
Yeah, I agree. And then it doesn't have to go up to like a 5. It can be like 3, 3, 4, or something like that. Okay, 3.
Yeah.
Now, the Dung Beetle can lift a lot and push a lot, but how does that translate to his health? Does the Dung Beetle start with 14, 18, or 22 hit points per player?
But maybe level 1, maybe he could be 14 and then take a big jump to level 2.
Sure, that sounds good.
Okay.
Let's do that.
All right.
14.
All right, 14 at level 1.
Well done. We now have a brute at scheme 0, attack 3, and 14 hit points per player. Dung Beetle seems vicious. Now, the Dung Beetle is renowned for rolling balls of increasing size around the world. Now, let's think about the card text on Dung Beetle. Should it read, after Dung Beetle attacks, after Dung Beetle schemes?
I think it's when he schemes, because he's got 0 scheme. You got to do something. Otherwise, people are just going to sit there while he schemes at 0.
He's a brute.
But yeah, exactly. So when he schemes, he could do something brutish instead of scheming.
He attacks instead.
Yeah. Even if you're in alter ego.
In alter ego mode, yeah. Yeah. Because he doesn't care about your crap. He's got his own stuff going on.
Ooh, he doesn't care about your crap. He only cares about his crap.
Right. I also think that his ability when he attacks or something, or when you attack him, or I don't know, something like you discard cards from the top of the encounter deck to show that he's like rolling up a ball, and you count the boost icons, and they do something. I don't know.
But what if every card he kills goes into his dung pile? It's kind of like the collection, but it's, I don't know.
Yes. Forced response. After Dung Beetle attacks and defeats an ally, add it to the pile. And the pile can be an environment card. And based on the number of things in the pile, he could get stronger and stronger and stronger until he overwhelms you.
That's brilliant. Let me just type that in with this 3-button remote.
I was going to say, that's a whole lot to type in with a
I don't know
Roku.
any of this. This show is the weirdest show we've ever watched. I feel like Mojo's watching us and listening to us.
I love it, by the way. I love it.
Okay.
All right. We got it.
Yeah.
And enter. It accepted.
Yeah. They took it. I mean, they say technology is not listening to us, but clearly the Mojo TV is, because it put it word for word on the screen. So
Perhaps Dung Beetle needs an environment card to reflect what you're talking about.
Big ball of dung.
What are you guys talking about? I heard big ball of dung and some other weird stuff from Wild Make It Awkward. What's happening?
We're building Dung Beetle the Dung Beetle.
it's a villain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there's an environment card? What is that?
Well, we don't know yet.
All right.
Exactly. See,
Let's
here.
talk about it.
Yeah.
So what do dung beetles do in life? They just
Dead.
roll things until they're monstrously large, right? Like it's just like a snowball thing. Okay.
So anything
But-
he kills gets added to his dung pile.
Okay.
But we don't want it to be like exactly like the collector.
Okay.
We want it to be
Right.
a little more, he gets stronger with it.
Right. So you count the number of cards in the dung pile, and if there's 3 cards in the dung pile, his attacks gain overkill. He rolls over you.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah,
Because like,
something
aren't
like
they
that.
just rolling balls of poop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's
Yeah.
not. Oh, okay. All right.
We
They just like gather things up. I like this. Okay, great.
and I'm picturing a tiny villain too, like Thumbelina, Ant-Man, Wasp size.
Yeah, for sure. At some point I want to talk about something when he schemes. I don't know how to do that, if it's on a card or something else, because I just thought of a great idea.
Well, that could be on a main scheme, perhaps.
Okay, That's it. Yes. You
All
got that.
right.
I got it.
So I'm getting into this now, guys. So how do you type it in? What do you do?
Oh, you just
you
yell
use
at the screen. You just yell at the screen at this point. Yeah.
So he gets stronger the more stuff he collects in his dung pile?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be like
Awesome.
Unis and them, like based on the
Okay.
number
Yeah.
of cards in the pile, he adds different traits or abilities or something. Could be.
Now, I mean, a dung beetle doesn't really care what it's throwing in the pile. Is it only allies, or
It doesn't have to be.
like maybe when he attacks, he takes stuff or random discards? I don't know. Like
Maybe anything that the encounter deck discards from your play area.
Oh, and so his encounter deck would do that.
Yeah, or any of the
Caught off guard, stuff like that.
caught off guard.
Yeah, cool. Okay. All right. So an environment card that reflects his growing ball of stuff. All right.
Yeah, we could call it that too.
No, what did you call it, Mike? You had a name?
Giant ball of dung.
Oh, that's better. Or could it just be giant dung ball? Because dung ball is fun to say.
We just call it Katamari. No,
I really hope people get that reference.
I hope someone
Good
gets
Lord,
that reference.
This is not that obscure.
Well, two old, out of touch people like Steve and me didn't get it.
All right.
Yeah, I can't.
All right. All right, well done. Dung Beetle now has an environment card. Every villain needs a main scheme. What would the main scheme be called for Dung Beetle?
Okay, it's definitely lifting and pushing, and the flavor text is going to be the Dung Beetle likes lifting and pushing.
Love it. Okay.
Push it
Wonderful,
out, shove
wonderful
it out,
title.
way out. Okay.
What should the text read on the main scheme?
Okay, so you know how he doesn't have any scheme right now, so that's a safe space for people. But he should do something when he schemes.
Agree.
Yep.
Agree.
If people are an alter ego. So I think this should say when he would scheme, instead, he starts rolling around the trash and starts grabbing stuff out of your discard pile and throwing it in his dung pile.
Oh.
And then
So when he schemes, he takes a random discard from the discard pile?
he takes the top card from everyone or the top two cards from your discard pile or top one card and puts it in his
Topmost
dung
card
pile.
from your discard pile 2 on expert mode.
Yeah. There you go. To his dung pile.
Yes. Can the heroes take cards out of the dung pile, or are they lost forever?
I'm a big fan of the Lost Forever.
If they could get them back, it'd have to be pretty
It'd have to be pretty gross.
Yeah, they'd have to specifically it'd only be an alter ego action, which means he's just going to scheme against you and put more stuff in there anyways, like that. Okay.
I mean,
Maybe
if you
that's
were
too
to do that, you'd probably take some damage doing it. Maybe even get that first grader plague.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
there could be a whole set aside of attachment cards that say the dung plague, and if you remove if you take a card out, you
it could be like a little side deck. Every time you go to get a card back, you grab one of those too, and it's a condition attachment.
Just clogs your hand or something, or condition attachment.
The toilet.
Oh, I like Dung Beetle.
I'm still curious what this has to do with being a brute or super strength, but we're still doing this, so okay.
Isn't the Dung Beetle the strongest animal in the animal kingdom?
By weight.
Pound for pound? Okay.
Pound for pound, yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's brute strength. I hear your doubt, listener, viewer.
Thank you, narrator man.
Let me put this in context for you. Did you know that if you were a Dung Beetle, that would be like you pulling about 6 double-decker buses behind you?
Oh.
See, Steve, if you put it like that, that's brute strength right there.
Yeah, don't feel bad about that 3 attack then.
No, not at all. Even though he is about the size of a pencil eraser. But, whatever. Okay, how much starting threat should be on the main scheme, and what should be the threat limit?
Starts at 1 per player, goes up by 2 per player, and tops out at 7 per player, because he doesn't really scheme much.
Okay,
Can't be that. You're just going to be adding boost cards to it.
That seems hard.
Okay, maybe it goes up by 1 per player. Starts at 1, goes up by 1, tops out at 7. And then there's a second main scheme. If the first one is completed, a whole bunch of more things go into the dung pile, and then you go into the second one, and the second one's got a little bit more of a buffer.
Or maybe if the first one's completed, you can't get anything out of it because it's too big.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
You lose that ability to get those condition cards.
This is the most convoluted.
I'm loving Dung Beetle.
I'm already fearful at the end of this episode of Mojo Television where they say, and Steve's going to make these cards.
Oh, I thought that was it. I thought that was a given, by the way. All right, cool. Welcome back to Villain Factory. And finally, what would be the signature card of Dung Beetle's encounter deck?
It should have something to do with brute strength, I think, just to play off of that, right? Dung Beetle attacks you with plus X attack, where X is equal to the number of cards in his pile.
Oh, oh my goodness.
If this attack kills a player, excess damage gets dealt to another player. Repeats until damage is done.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you just get it is just called like bowled over, right?
Yeah. What's that called again in Lord of the Rings? Not Stampede. What is it? What's it?
Oh.
You know, I'm thinking like where you just keep hitting things.
Eomer
Eomer does it.
Yeah, Eomer's horse.
Yeah.
Trample or something.
Trample.
It's trample and magic, right?
Yeah.
Where you just no, I like that. That's a great signature card. There should be 10 of them in the deck.
Like 2.
All right. You have now crafted the villain Dung Beetle, the strongest villain in Marvel Champions, the card game. Well done.
Cool. All right. How do we save this?
It's already saved and sent to Steve's email where he will use it to craft the card.
What? No, I don't want to do that.
Oh, thanks, Steve. The game needs more custom content. That's cool.
Love it.
Love it.
Great. Well, I'm turning this show off.
That was different.
Guys, that show made me think of some things. Like I've been kind of looking through the internet and finding things out about like strong animals. I'm gonna ask you guys some trivia.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So the dung beetle, of course, we know is the strongest animal by weight, right? But do you know what the strongest animal, the strongest flying animal is?
What was that bird I heard at the beginning?
Yeah, is it one of the eagles?
It is. It is the harpy eagle, Mike. Can lift 2 times its body weight, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're a bird, I think that is. And those are big birds. And do you know what animal is the strongest in terms of just pure lifting ability? This is another thing we could have. It is, Steve. It's the African elephant. Yeah. And do you know how much it can lift?
Does it even lift, bro?
Waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
He can lift 13,000 pounds.
Wow,
what?
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
I don't know. And the next strongest lift animal is only a little under 2,000 pounds, and that's the muskox.
Wow.
I mean, that's a strong animal. That might have to be our next villain. But elephants can never be villains, can they?
What about little baby hippos? How much can they lift?
Oh, a baby hippo?
Yeah.
They don't lift a lot. They're going to be on that list of animals with the strongest bite, Steve.
Okay.
What animal do you think has the strongest bite? It is not the baby rhino or even the mama rhino.
The hippo.
The Florida crocodile.
Close, Steve. It is the Nile crocodile.
Wow.
Well, I guess it's a Florida gator anyways. It's not a crocodile. It's a gator. Yeah.
It's 2 gators and then an alligator, or 2 crocs and then an alligator, and then your hippo shows up. Yeah. I don't know why I was sort of down some rabbit hole about strong animals lately, but well, that was a funny show. Huh.
Funny.
I wasn't really expecting a show like that.
Oh my God.
All this talk about super strength.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, all this talk about super strength.
So I'm guessing you weren't expecting me to come up with a show that made you make a dung beetle villain?
I should have known better. I shouldn't be surprised, but I was surprised. This is what happens when we don't script stuff out, people. Well, Mike, you did mention super strength, and you know what? There's a modular set called super strength that comes in the next evolution box. It's required in Mr. Sinister, has 5 cards, 4 by title, How about we talk about those cards?
You know what has super strength, Steve? Dung beetles.
So does Mr. Sinister when you play with this set. So Daniel, why don't you tell us what super strength is, at least in our game? So
all right. So what happens when you attach it to dung beetle, for example?
Yeah, let's remember. Yeah, let's all take that with dung beetle in mind.
A grain of dung beetle. All right. Super strength is an attachment. It is a superpower traded attachment. Setup attached to the villain. Permanent. Attached villain gains the brute trait and steady. It also has +1 attack. All right.
Okay, nice.
Gains the brute trait. Well, some dung beetles already start with that.
Again, I don't think that brute trait does anything for villains.
There are a few cards that target brute, but I will see where we go with this set. Then we'll look at them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's super strength. That's what super strength does. It gives you +1 attack.
Only
That doesn't
+1.
seem that super.
Steady.
Okay, fine, it's steady, but +1. There's got to be a plus bigger than that, Mike.
Perhaps a +3.
What?
With thrown object, the attachment. This is an item. It's attached to the villain. It gives him +3 attack with this asterisk. Attached villain's attacks gain ranged and force response after the villain attacks. Discard this card, and it has 3 boost icons.
Wow.
So a single use throws a really big thing.
Yeah.
The whole dung ball.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Oh, I don't know why I was so excited and got into that.
The range is funny and thematic, but if he's giving +3 attack, I want overkill.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. He's got to have flight attached to him as well, right?
Yeah.
Remember, the ally this kills goes right into the dung ball, Mike.
That's right.
It's true.
So you don't want to chump block necessarily with him throwing what is that? Some jet engine or something?
So dung beetles have like a chitinous shell, which makes them impervious, which is our next attachment. Impervious, attached to the villain, reduce the amount of damage attached villain takes from each attack by 1. Hero action, spend double physical resources, give the villain a tough status card, and discard this card, 2 boost icons.
That is so cool.
Yeah. You have to outstrong him.
Yeah, and then he still gets like a little bit of boost at the end, even after you get rid of this.
That's my favorite part, because that really is impervious. Wow. That's fun.
Yeah, it doesn't impact non-attacks, right? It says from each attack by 1. So if you have some ways to deal non-attack damage, that's like retaliate,
anything
electrostatic
green.
armor. Yeah, anything green, basically. Army of Ants.
Gets by that.
Tack team, stuff like that. Yeah. But it's not like there's a ton of stuff that does that. So
Right. Well, the last card in the set, there's 2 of them. I'll take that, I guess, he says. It's a treachery. When revealed, discard the upgrade you control with the lowest cost and put it in the dung pile. Highest cost instead if the villain has the psionic trait. If no upgrade was discarded this way, this card gains surge with 2 boosts.
Yeah, this is situational. It targets upgrades, so that's probably something you want. Supports can go either way, but the upgrades you probably really want. And which one you hate losing probably depends on the hero you have.
yeah, I mean, pulling off an upgrade, we talked about this with like Thumbelina and stuff, right? It could pull endurance, which could kill you if your health is low enough. But
yeah.
It could pull the symbiote suit if he's also psionic, which he can get from a different one of these sets, telepathy. So, and then if nothing's out there, it surges. So there's not a whiff. I kind of like this because
is the symbiote suit not permanent?
Correct. Just that 1 week.
One week we played it. Okay.
Yeah, it was like a special house rule from FFG. No, I even if it's maybe not the most super duper impactful because you have some a couple low cost upgrades, people hate losing their stuff, right? It's frustrating at least. So,
but it's only discarded. It's not like it goes into a dung heap,
right? Not normally.
Not normally.
That's it. That's all. That's the 4 different cards. Just like Flight had 4 different cards with some attachments and things.
Steve is our flight connoisseur. How do you compare this one to the one you talked
about? If we just look at the superpower, the permanent setup attachment card, I think Flight is better for the villain, giving him overkill all the time.
Yep.
I think that changes things. I mean, just giving him steady neuters a ton of deck plays, right? If you've got that stun and confuse lock deck, some people will see steady and just not even bother trying. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And one day Brute will matter.
Oh, Brute. Okay, so does Brute matter? Let's take a look real quick.
There's like something in like Mr. Hyde, right?
Well, the set that this is required in Mr. Sinister does care about Brute, and it cares about Aerial Brute and Psionic a bunch of times. He's got a bunch of cards that care about that.
Okay.
The Flight set, like you said, cares about Brute. It doubles the amount of damage from the higher ground card.
Ooh, okay.
If you happen to be playing Angel, that Harpoon Nemesis cares about Brute, which is kind of interesting. And then Wrecking Crew Modular gives Brute's tough status card, so it kind of is something. And then, like you said, there's a Mr. Hyde card.
That gives Brutes something, right?
It's actually the reverse. It's like when a Brute takes damage, you get to help clear the sides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Brute's not super impactful, but thematic. So
who is that with the swords?
Yeah, who is that with the swords? That is not comic art. I don't know who that is. Mike, do you know who that is?
No idea.
Okay.
All right. What do we think overall? Mike, you got an opinion on this set?
Nope.
Okay.
You have an opinion on Dung Beetle?
Not yet. I have to see the whole set first. Yeah. No, I know it's hard to judge these in isolation.
I think when we finally talk about telepathy, we can kind of talk about all three of them together and how they interweave, and then of course how they play in Mr. Sinister.
Right. When are we getting to him?
We're working our way there.
2025. We should be.
No, I mean it's not far, right? We've got we're talking about his modulars, and then he's coming up. He's our next villain that we're going to talk about.
So. Oh, I'm so excited. He's like such an important villain in the whole Marvel thing, and this may surprise you guys. I don't know much about him, other than I think I like him because he looks like Dracula.
Well, we did have Alibon. We talked about Mr. Sinister when we did Cyclops' Nemesis set.
And that's all I know. There's got to be more to this guy.
There's got to be more.
Sounds like you just signed up to do the lore episode.
Oh, wow.
Since you didn't do the lore tonight.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Hurtful, but fair, I guess. Okay, if you want one of my backstories for a super, I'm on it. Mike, what if other people wanted to watch the Villain Factory? What can they do?
Then they could make their own cards and they could throw all their crap at Steve and Steve will print it for them.
Yay!
You can do that by emailing us at criticalencounterspod@gmail.com. We are Critical Encounters on Facebook. You can find our YouTube, Twitch, or Patreon by searching for Critical Encounters Podcast. And on Discord, we are Vardane, Big Pub Loaf, and Wandering 2. If you like our show, tell your friends. If you don't like our show, tell your enemies. Got Lang, take us out.
My daughter lost her volleyball uniform. I thought I'd look under these buildings.
Did they also make dinner, like what I hear in the background?
Yep, they make dinner, and Elsa stepped on a mousetrap.
Ooh, ouch.
So, just now. No, so this was my idea for a very long time. You don't have to include this in the show, but like, I knew I wanted to do like Animal Kingdom something, and my hiccup was like, how do you make this a Mojo show?
Apparently we can do anything we want on a Mojo show.
We can do anything we want on Mojo TV now.
Yeah.
We've set a precedent that is limitless freedom.
Whoa.
That's a big pile of
language.